without further ado, it is the Niles Deep, a DoD community map. Not Nomad though, so all the players start in their respective positions, and you can see we have Motobar as blue. Can I double click this? No. In the red, Entropic on Loki. In the teal, on Gaia, it's Squanto. Number 4, J4 JC3. I'm not sure how you meant to say it, but I'm going to say it as it's spelt, shall we say. And it's going to be the boss man himself on Thor in the green. Over here, Natim Neo is how I'm going to say that, on Frere. In the grey, Golden Royal, another Thor player. And finally, in the yellow, Automaton, also on Frere in the yellow. It's going to be 7 players total. So we're just shy of 8. But of that 7 players, 5 of them are Norse players. Wowie. 2 Thor, 2 Freyr, a little Loki action, some Atlanteans, some Greek representation, but that's it. No China, no Egypt. But we're underway. The game's ticking on. No desync yet. Oh gosh, touch wood. Don't curse it. And we'll see how we go. The map itself is looking good. There's some fish in some odd places here and there. A little bit of water around the place. Double animal spawn. Is that so? Well, we definitely have. Well, let's see. Well, there is some animals close by. I wonder if that counts as a in-base animal spawn. Not really too up on the... Oh, I can see he's Nadim Neo has herded some deer into his town center, of course. Great strat. So there is quite a lot of food on these maps. Of course, the fish is one thing. Quite a lot of fish. There's a couple of shades of Hades lurking on the corners. Got to be careful of them. Yeah, quite a lot of food on the map. We're going to try to look at all the relics. There's a lot spread out across the map on a map this big. So let's have a look. Homie's winged sandals. Hero move speed. That's quite good. Well, it's okay. Depends on the faction. Titan's treasure. This is actually quite good. 10% cost reduction for aging up. Obviously gets better the higher up you go. Secret of the Titan research tech cost reduction as well. Not a bad one. What else have we got? Reyes crown. Town and village centers cost less and generate favor. That can be good early. Shadong's Ochre Whip for the farm tech. Probably not as good on this map. We can see red here already fishing their heart out. Entropic. Gonna probably refer to colors rather than player names more often than not on this map. Nose of the Sphinx for building hit point increase. That's actually probably pretty good in a free-for-all. Especially as the games go longer. Arrows of Heracles. The attack range... Sorry, increases the attack of ranged soldiers and ranged heroes. Yep. Not bad, depending on your... what's the word? Your composition that you go for. Here's the one that increases range. It's Ulu's bow. Range and line of sight for ranged soldiers. We got another relic just lurking over in the corner here. Archimedes' Ledger. Siege weapons take less population space. That's actually quite good. One of the big criticisms of siege weapons in Age of Myth, well, there's a few, but one of them is that they take up too much population. So that one over there to mitigate that. Adamantine shingles here to increase house hit points. Did we look at this one? Pelt of Argus. All units line of sight by 6. Don't know that I've seen that relic before. That seems alright. 9 Cauldrons. Increase the hack and pierce armor of soldiers trained at fortress-type buildings. This is quite interesting because the latest patch has buffed fortress-type units somewhat. Less so for some factions than others. So it'll be interesting to see if we'll see, like for example, we have Motobar in the blue here, who's quite close to that relic. And Greeks getting the biggest buffs to their fortress-type units, so could be an interesting little factoid. Dwarven calipers for siege weapons being cheaper. Eye of Horus for town centers providing more population, that's a good one. And I think that's all the relics. Now we're seeing a bunch of Age 2 coming through. So let's have a quick look. Matava, what did you advance with? You advanced through Athena? Let's see here. We have Oceanus for Squanto, the Gaia player. Looks like we got J4 with Freya. And which color was he? Right, he was the green. Who hasn't made it yet? Automaton's on the way up. Presumably, yeah, he's going through Ulu. We did see a lightning bolt somewhere on the front lines. It's kind of interesting. All players are fraught with enemies on either flank. So you're going to have to pick a direction to push whilst defending the other flank for most players, and that's going to be tough. What did our Loki player age up with? Looks like he went with Heimdall. That's interesting to see. We got Golden Royal here with Freya. The Valkyrie gets caught behind the wood there, but manages to sneak out. Are they going to be able to get away? It looks like the boats are in to push off the Hersa, and the Valkyrie survives for now. It's going to take another run around. The town center gets a shot off. Hey, Brickhead, welcome. Good to see you, Brickhead. Welcome to the channel, to the chat, to the tournament, to the event. And it's going to be a lot of pressure from Golden Royal onto Red here. Entropic got their work cut out for them. There's at least 5 Hersa there and a whole bunch of boats. It's building boats of their own. It's dragon ship versus dragon ship for now. One longboat out. And it looks like houses coming up in a panic from Golden Royal just to keep the pressure on. But here comes Watchtowers. And of course, in the Battle of Hersas, it's Loki favored. One Hersa getting caught. But on the other flank, some boats here pressuring the Gaia player from Entropic. But potentially, you know, as far as the diplomacy of it going, angering his both neighbors. So he's going to be at war on 2 fronts for Entropic. That's going to be tough. But you don't want to leave anyone be, and besides, Squanto could well have started the aggression themselves at some point, so good to get ahead of the action. Looks like Entropic has bought themselves a little bit of space, is now producing some longhouses. Let's have a look at other places on the map. All things are quiet on the green-blue border. Pegasus coming out to have a little look round. We do see a greedy expansion here from Nat, the orange player, who is up with Uller, as most Freya players like to do. Got the armory out early. And yellow, also in a peaceful fishing space. As the boat battle between Gaia and Loki continue, we do see a bit of a established presence on the Isle of Red here, in the sort of the east of Entropic space. Some boat-on-boat action, trading back and forth. Everyone wanting to compete for this huge mass of fish right here. Although there is a lot of fish everywhere on the map. It is fish haven. So much food. You know, with all this food, do we really need war? Can't we have peace? Oh, but what's going on here? A Hersa battle. No myth unit spawned yet, but of course it's just always round the corner in the Loki versus or anyone matchup. Some throwing axemen getting caught with a little miss micro, but both players taking some serious damage. Red here to do their best to drive out the intruders from their homeland. With a quick Age 3 from J4. Of course, a few players are in Age 3 now. Both with Freyas and the Thor player. A little Asgardian Hillfort dropped, I should say, down at the front lines. Kraken's lurking at the docks. And it looks like Entropic is going to be pushing Golden Royal back for now. A little bit of a clash here as the walling from Motorbar is underway. This shade blocking the villager from building the walls completely. But it may not matter. Do we see anyone else? Yes, we do. I was going to say, do we see any... Oh, where do we see this forest fire? On this singular tree here. That's unfortunate. But there's going to be a bit... Oh, is that a Thane out already? Of course, there is age 3 for Golden Royal. Pause his aggression in order to age up, but potentially at a mistake because Entropic spending all their time instead building armies resources. We have Gaia who has, instead of aging, gone for the 3 town center play, which is hugely greedy, but taking all that space early may pay dividends if they can survive. And they do have a bit of a military to back it up, so... Their north neighbor, quite content to chill. Their south neighbor, at battle. So, the Gaia player, unpunished with their greed. But there's still some Jarls coming out for Golden Royal, and they're causing problems. There's one dwarf down there. We're going to try our best to keep track of everything here. Walls going up for yellow. We do have a bit of a entrenchment coming forth from orange in the center of the map. This town center is reserved by the Zeus player. And J4, he's just taking yet another town center. He's got one queued up over here as well. And he's having a good time. He's just expanding. Meanwhile, these buildings continue to be slapped away. Some boats damaging the fishing ships, but more boats being produced. And this is where all the action's happening right now. There is a little bit of a naval invasion from Squanto onto Red lands. Poor Red getting somewhat sandwiched early on in this free-for-all matchup. It happens to someone. It's just a question of whether or not it's going to be you. And Red seems to be the victim of the early pressure this game, but they're holding out well. Meanwhile, Orange is pushing into Yellow territory, and Yellow with the army there ready to defend, but gonna let the towers do a little bit of softening up. But there are portable rams in the mix. They can't wait too long to engage. Gonna let a bit of an opening, I guess, form, but the rams are on the tower, and the tower is a great asset to protect, so in comes the military. It's going to be Berserkers, Hersa, and the Battle Ball getting in here. Portable rams of their own. But there's, what do you call them? What is this goddamn? Godie. You've got Godie in the back. And they're going to be able to crush the Battle Ball very quickly if they're not careful. But here comes Ghoul and Bursty to drive back the defenders. Going to try to whack on those mountain giants. Of course, rock giants. So strong at crushing down buildings quickly. Not to mention the taunt. But there's the Tempest, and it's going to be a Tempest from Orange, which is going to do a lot of damage to the large military of Yellow. But Yellow's heavy Berserkers are tanking it quite well, not to mention getting on top of all of those units, crushing the front line of Orange as he retreats back from his push. Manages to save the tower and a lot of his military, but perhaps an overextension here. Look at all these throwing axemen in the choke, crushing a lot of those berserks. That was a lot of military loss there for Yellow, not to mention Ghoul and Bursty. Having a quick look over at Red, who is holding on, but under siege from the water and the land. Behemoths, siege biremes, Mermillo, Back Palace, the town center taken. The squeeze is on. But in the south, they've pushed off Golden Royal. Golden Royal is content to sit and, eco up a little bit. So he's bought himself some space in that regard. But it's difficult. You got the Hill Fort getting slapped. These throwing axemen doing what they can to destroy the Mermillos, the Terma, But the Behemoth, meanwhile, focusing on that hill fort, going to be able to bring it down almost certainly, and a forward palace behind it. In terms of other action on the map, we see Orange has gone over here and crushed the wall of the Zeus player to get this town center. So a bit of a expansion in that way. Grey still hasn't expanded to any additional town centers just yet. We do see the Kraken taking down some boats here and there. Now the hill fort did go down, but the forward palace was stopped. And there's not enough military here, but oh, watch out now, as Yellow casts Inferno onto the gold mine, and that's a lot of dead dwarves, not to mention huge damage to the military. Yellow to follow up, massive damage. Ghoul and Bursty, I think, was used elsewhere, maybe. I'm not seeing the big pig. Was he over here? I can't actually see our good friend, Mr. Gulen. Mr. Bursty. Maybe, was he killed by the Inferno? Did I miss it? There was so much destruction in that one move. But Orange rebuilding their town center. The push there was excellent, but forestalled for now. This battle ball goes down. Fafnir in the back. That's a quick tier 4, I would say. Not to mention, we do see Mythic Age for Zeus, who does have their Vault of Plenty, settling in for a long game as they send their military down to Green, which is currently trying to make a little bit of a Jarl push onto this town center, but with the fortress and the town center right there, not to mention Bellerophon diving into the backline, although dying pretty quickly, but there's a lot of building defense damage going out onto this Jarl army. Jarl's being so tanky, and seemingly getting a lot of work done, but there's no crush damage behind this, so it's trading in unfavorable conditions. Not to mention there's a Petropolis hitting on this hill fort. J4 gonna need a little bit more in the tank to push through this position, but rallying all his buildings onto this location, he's settling in for a long siege. Getting some Jarls onto the Petropolis as well. What else do we see real quick? Nothing happening on this front. Yellow and Teal are at peace. There is a little bit of a clash between Orange and Yellow. But Blue and Green still slapping each other. Oh, and where is this happening? We have an implosion right on top of Red's new hill fort. I think that's a lot of gatherers getting sucked into that implosion. That's bad news for our Loki player. A lot of buildings destroyed. Holds onto the town center. Not quite sure what the count is in terms of economy. I think it's 41 villages here to the 100 villager count of Teal, the Gaia player, tier 4 and angry, throwing the military into Red's base. Entropic, real big trouble. Still in age 3, behind on villager count, being harassed all game. We do see that there has been a bit of expansion for Golden Royal, who has very wisely pulled out militarily from the attack on Red, and is now just trying to build themselves up for the late game. Green and Blue slapping at each other still. This town center has lost half of its health, but Blue still holding onto this position quite well. Restoration coming down now as Fimbulwinter comes out. So that's going to be, I think, bad for everyone, right? Fimbulwinter affects everyone. Yeah, wolves are all across the map to cause problems. Mostly not a big deal, just causing idle time for most players. But you know who who isn't handling it very well? Good friend Entropic, where the Fimbulwinter really stinging. Not to mention the last of his villagers being fanaticked down by the likes of Squanto as he runs, trying to find somewhere to run to. But it's curtains, I think, for our red player. Maybe the first to tap out here. Palace is being built forward. We've got citizens building yet another settlement. And the battle up here. Orange and Yellow continuously duking it out. Fire Giants in the mix now. Not to be underestimated. We did see Orange advance to Mythic Age through, is it Hell? I think Hell is the giant goddess. Let me double check that, because I can. It is hell. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure my Norse knowledge is on point. We do see some Jormund Elver in the water to shut down boat action. And yellow on the back foot is such an impressive Inferno coming through Vidar, but after that, you know, what's your power spike? The god is focused on infantry outside of its god power, and the giants potentially a lot more value, and Nidhogg yet to show his ugly face upon the field. But look at this! Blue is now putting the pressure onto J4, who is in a bit of trouble. His push fell flat. He's using the frost to hold forth the Greek infantry just for a little bit, buy himself some time. Not to mention Golden Royal taking the fight to green, possibly why Blue was able to get a foothold, because suddenly J4 is fighting a war on two fronts. But now, Grey and Blue are potentially clashing their front lines together, although it's going to be up to J4 to find a corner of the map to sort of retreat to and sort of wait out the storm as he rebuilds. It's a tough spot to be in. They may go for the throat and try to finish him off before he can sneak away, but it's certainly looking bad for Green all of a sudden. Sneaky Golden Royal taking advantage of a weak player, but Grey suddenly has their own problems as the might of the Gaia army. Oh my lord. Okay, we just saw a Ragnarok in reaction to this aggression from Gaia. Golden Royal going all in there, throwing his army at these fire siphons, at these Arcus. Or Argus. Arcus? Arcus. Argus is different. Not to mention the flaming weapons. But yellow with flaming weapons of their own to try to hold this orange attack up here, where the front lines are still kind of seesawing back and forth. But yellow just holding on as the ballistas start to come in now, applying a lot of pressure from range. And J4, the damage is kind of done. Even though Grey is somewhat distracted, he's got his work cut out for him to hold the advance of Blue. Certainly Blue is not going to have any trouble from Orange for a while as the battle between Orange and Yellow rages onward. Yeah, and the forward hill fort under attack by all kinds of rock and fire giants. A whole bunch of Godi and Ballista in the back. The composition is looking mighty fine for our Orange player, and it seems that Automaton is under a lot of pressure. This looks like it's going to be tournament life for them if they don't get some help soon. And, you know, we do see this March of the Ragnarok coming in on Gaia, the other strong player in the match. If you look at the point count, Gaia is number 2. Of course, Blue being number 1, and you can see why, as they push all the way down into green. Poor Green. J4 cursing the gods as the last of his presence on the map just about wiped out. He does have this little foothold down here. Maybe he should build a village center, I don't know. But, you know, potentially Blue could think that this is it. But look at this! J4, sneaky boy, found a settlement to grab a neglected expansion from Golden Royal. And Golden Royal, his military might is powerful, but it's dwindling as he trades atrociously with Gaia, the fanatics doing good work against the Ragnarok heroes. And suddenly, Golden Royal with no, with 16 villages total. So a lot of didn't buy himself quite as much space as they would have liked, I would imagine. And now the Gaia might is marching southward once more. So he's going to have to do something to hold on to hope here, buy himself some time. We do see that Entropic, our red player, is still in the game, still on the map. So they didn't hear no bell. They haven't given up yet. And Yellow has managed to hold on. We didn't catch quite how. There were so many giants on the map, but if we look at how many Godi there are rebuilding this town center for right now, I think we have some idea as to how they managed to climb themselves back. Not to mention, they already have a trade route pretty well established. There are, of course, trade routes here for orange as well. Do we see a trade route for Zeus? Not yet. It's going to be something they need to think about soon. And fortresses on the front lines as the Dwarven Gold Mine being gathered in the back. J4 holds on to life for now. Just barely. Not to mention starting a trade route of their own. And how much is it? 18 gold per trip. It's a bit sad, but you take what you can get when you're pushed into a corner. Now, here comes the mighty Grecian army. Hoplites, Heliopolis, or Helepolis, I mean to say. It's not looking good for J4. Unfortunately, Golden Royal, with the Ragnarok going all in the way they did, fighting with Gaia the way they are, Blue was never going to be distracted from their one singular goal of destroying the Green Man himself. Not looking good, but we do see a little Loki Klingon in the center of the map. A village center going down, quite interesting. I'm curious to see if they can find a space in the chaos to rebuild, but it's not looking good. Orange potentially going to spot them in a moment. The front line between yellow and orange continually clashing. A lot of Godie in the mix to counter the giant spam. Still no clear victor as both lines clash. Perhaps yellow is going to be able to buy themselves a little bit more space again as the pendulum swings back in their favor. We'll have to check back in on this in a moment. We do see another flaming weapons coming out for Golden Royal as he pushes Gaia back with another push. Militarily, 39 civilian population. So still recovering, still rebuilding, but managing to hold on. But once J4 is gone, and J4, he's not out yet, rebuilding his military, trying to hold on. If he should fall, then blue is going to come straight for grey. And I don't think grey is going to be able to hold off Gaia and blue simultaneously. But look at this. Orange about to poke the bear. You know, much like Japan against America in World War II. Orange potentially going to wake a sleeping giant and draw some military direction his way from blue. Although it doesn't look like he made the mistake. Pulled back before it was too late. Belafron running around trying to get some value. Almost about to fall. A valiant defense from player green to hold on to hope, to life. Golden Royal pulling back from Squanto. Trying not to overextend, but these are Contarius, they're no joke. I'm going to try to say your name. Polythylenterophthalate. Wow, that's quite a mouthful. Welcome to the chat. We're all hyped for Japan here. Oh, but look at this. Nidhogg coming down from the surviving red player who's been discovered by orange, but he's going to blast some of these berserks away with a little Nidhogg action. Not to mention the fire giant. Lost a lot there. What's he sitting at now? It's 11 civilian pop and 40 military pop. Just about wiped out of the map. But with the Nidhogg holding on to hope, a dream. Burning some fishing ships now in the water. Not the greatest application of Nidhogg to burn a singular fishing ship, but doing his best to fight off the Kraken, to fight off Orange's army. Yellow taking a little bit of space as he bashes down Orange's town center, drawing his military northward. Orange doesn't have the time to be messing around with red in the center. Red kind of have bought themselves a little bit of a neutral zone. Any player that commits militarily to there is putting themselves at risk. Golden Royal also a bit under pressure as he tries to micro between attacking red and defending against teal, as Gaia sends another army down his way. But here comes another Inferno right onto a huge mass of orange military, and kaboom. There we go. See you later, a whole bunch of military there. Not a huge amount of damage building-wise, but good damage on the military. We do see some portable rams smacking away at this fortress here, potentially drawing the ire of blue, but blue seemingly focused on killing all hope for J4, trying to find each and every spot where his villagers lay wait. Let's have a quick check-in on the count here. 30 civilian population for green. So dwindling numbers, but holding on for now. Looking across the map, seems like the towers dealt with the portable rams eventually. Perhaps the villagers came out to slap them, but the fortress did go down. The battle between teal and grey continues over this water crossing here. Just back and forth, you know, forming a similar dynamic as yellow and orange. Although, you can see here that yellow is actually really taking the chair, the steel chair, to orange. Having destroyed a couple of town centers now, built one of their own over the top. Orange really in a sour spot right now. Another gold mine dropped for J4 as he totals in the corner. And look at this, a whole bunch of trade being brought round with nowhere left to go. They've got to find somewhere. Managing to find a 12 gold trade trip. Not exactly what you want to see. But, you know, make do with what you can. And Orange is now fighting for their life, trying to hold on to what's left of their territory. They're down to a single town center and a dream. They haven't yet felt the sting of the blue military might. So they have a chance. But yellow, kind of undisturbed all game. Only had to deal with a fight in one direction, and that was Orange's direction. And you can see that over time, they've managed to win the battle of attrition. The giant power from the Hell Mythic Age for Orange hasn't paid dividends, as the Godey problem got a little out of hand and destroyed a lot of their momentum. They weren't quite able to finish yellow off, and now it looks like their time in this game is also dwindling. Blue sending their army straight into J4, ignoring these buildings, going for the town center, is sick of it, wants to finish them off, claim their head. We still haven't seen the first elimination of the game yet, and we are at 33 minutes, which is crazy. But it's certainly not looking good for our man, who is now migrating further further north. But he's got nowhere to go. It's either right into the teal army, or it's into Grey's military might. Yellow, settling lands as they conquer. Town center after town center, building over the top. I think that's 0 town centers left for Orange player now. Destroying the hill fort, building hill forts of their own as they go. It is the Norse staple. And all this trade sitting there, nowhere left to go. That looks like it could be it for our Orange player this game. And Golden Royal, a bit of idling villages as he struggles to defend this constant Gaia pressure. And there we see J4 tapping out. A salute to you, good sir, kind sir. A well-earned rest after a good game played. But look at this, Red's Nidhogg flying across the lands, causing trouble wherever he can find. Looks like he's targeting Gaia a little bit. If only he knew the state that Orange was in. What is the stats for our good friend Mr. Loki? Whoa! 3 civilian population. Just, here they are, 1, 2, and 3. Tapping away at this gold. Just hoping that no one notices they're there. But yellow and blue clashing now. The underworld passage allowing blue to bring his army home to defend. The portable rams smash it down, so they're committed now. There are peltasts on the front lines, you don't love to see it. Legendary Jarls here, slapping away, but they're against hoplites mostly. There's a lot of hoplites in the mix here. Bellerophon targeting down those portable rams. Heracles getting involved. And it looks like he's going to be able to turn his attentions towards yellow. Yellow, though, definitely climbing up in terms of points. Blue, top of the leaderboard, but gonna have his work cut out for him against the third strongest player on that remains on the map. And the battle continues. Just a quick look over at Golden Royal. Currently being absolutely pillaged by the likes of Squanto. The Contarius running from gathering point to gathering point. What is the villager count left? It's 35 and dwindling. Golden Royal, not long for this world, finally losing his footing as Gaia takes the fight to the last town center, I think, for them. And it looks like Yellow has managed to beat through the front lines of Motoba. And there's quite a lot of military here as the rally points stream units forward. But is there enough military production? We're going to find out. Battles between the buildings. Jarls all over the shop. Just so tanky. Causing problems even for hoplites to tear down quickly enough. Portable rams running forward. There's the matter of this plenty vault to defend. The town center goes down. And it is rough. Once Golden Royal is eliminated, if indeed he is, Gaia will turn their attentions, no doubt, onto yellow, and that's when the game gets really interesting. You're going to have this triangle of battle. Blue doing their best to regain control of this area. Both plenty vaults going... Well, yeah, both plenty vaults going to yellow. It's a huge deal. It's a lot of resources per second. And here comes Gaia, finding the last town center of Golden Royal. No other presence on the map. Of course, we do still have our Loki player sitting here, waiting, watching. And of course, yellow is still on the map as well, just barely. But the battle rages on. Blue just slowly losing ground. Managed to regain this plenty vault here, though. We do see some Prodromos coming out, hoping that they'll have more success against the Jarl. So many upgrades, though. Actually, can we have a look at that real quick? Yeah, look at this. We got the 10% hit point increase from that. 20%. Of course, you got the Iron Armor. Twilight of the Gods, Human Soldier, 10%. So these are tanky boys. 314 hit points total for the Jarls. They are just nightmares in the late game. But a bit of a composition switch up for Motoba. They've got their armies gathered. They're making a push. The yellow army is split. If they're going to be able to regain control, maybe now's the time. as Orange sends their trade into the fray to confuse everyone as attack orders are given. The Prodromos run across the field. But as you can see, Gaia is starting to turn their sights onto yellow as their armies make their way across the map. Some army in the center here just trying to finish off the last of orange. But once that's done with, the pressure is right onto the heart, the home seat of yellow's base. And look at this! Gaia also taking the fight to Loki as well, but flaming weapons come out. The fire giants trying to hold on to what little they have. Red, desperate to make a comeback, putting his giants onto this transport ship to run away, trying to get that settlement claimed. And it's a good opportunity. Could potentially rebuild. I really hope to see a bit more of a red comeback. Blue seemingly pushing back yellow just a little bit. Try to go for a sneaky fort in the back here. The Jarls caught it, but they're trying to finish the build. Looks like they won't be able to finish it. And we do see Golden Royal calling it. They did manage to finish the fort though, but it's too late. The Jarls did the damage they needed to do. We see the crab, the giant enemy crab here, slapping away at some berserks. As yellow tries to really solidly secure these plenty vaults. Still under yellow control. Motorbar, plenty of gas left in the tank. I don't believe they've used any of their... Oh no, that's right. They did go Hephaestus, so they do use the plenty vault. I'm so used to Zeus players going Hera. Red being a nuisance, building that settlement now. Gaia trying to clear him off the map. And if only Gaia had chosen to fight yellow, then blue would be in a lot better spot right now. But blue gonna have to hold on. Throwing their military at the gates, trying to hold the walls, but the walls go down. These Jarls, just so difficult to stop. 2 fortresses, a town center, a few hoplites in a dream for blue. No running from the Jarls, of course. Oh, but look at this. For the 3rd time this game, trying to garrison blue's units into the fortresses, manages to escape. Quite well done. Did get a lot of damage, and there's the Heimdall as well, but the restoration as well to counter. Great god power usage from both players. Oh, that's actually Red's Heimdall. A little cooperation there between Norse players. Oh, Motorbar's going to be stinging from that. Curse you, Red, they say as they shake their fist to the sky. But look at that. Entropic tapping out after that, saying, "This is my last act of revenge. I support yellow with my Heimdall god power, and I concede." Well played to Red. Entropic tapping out 3rd, holding on for a very long time in the center of the map. But Gaia has cleared them out now. And what's this? Orange taps out as well. Alright, well that's it. Gaia has taken care of Orange, they've taken care of Red, and now all that's left is yellow or blue, and I know who they're closest to. So this huge army of yellow is going to have to make a decision here in a few seconds. It's going to take a while for Gaia to get themselves positioned. So blue just has to hold on until Gaia can come to their aid. Not intentionally, but... yeah, Leyline, Leela, not a good time to root for Orange, I have to say. The fortress goes up, but it is mostly dead. Both fortresses are. The pressure is on. Yellow really wants to finish this off before it's too late. They must know that Gaia, Squanto, is coming for them. But blue is holding on pretty well. In terms of income, they're out of food. Farms are going up everywhere. Prodromos are coming out. It's a desperate hold for blue. Just praying that Gaia starts putting the pressure on before it's too late. And here it comes. The fire siphons are in position. The armies are attacking forward. And Yellow has to know that the more that they try to finish off Blue, the more likely it is that they come second in this free-for-all battle. They're going to have to think tactically. They don't want to give up ground, they don't want to lose these plenty vaults, but they also don't want to lose their backline, where all their production is, to the might of Gaia, who's taken control of most of the other side of the map. But here comes Ghoul and Bursty to try to defend, and in Mythic Age, it's a serious contender, but it is but one pig against the might of the entire Gaia army, and it can only do so much, and it falls pretty quickly. No retreat of the Yellow army for right now. Looks like it is content to keep the push going forward. It's portable rams slapping at yet another fortress built. And every fortress that goes up for Blue that he can't defend, it's a whole lot of resources down the drain. But attrition is kicking in. Yellow is not able to keep the flow of troops to the front line as he sends units to push Gaia away. But the Gaia army is right onto the trade line, and that's going to hit Yellow right in the gold, which of course is your most vulnerable spot in the late game, more often than not. Still trying to trickle troops forward to finish Blue off. I think this may be a mistake, as Blue is finally able to turn the tide and push Yellow back just a little bit, buying himself a little bit of space. Another fortress comes up, and you need those fortresses to get siege units out. Petropolis, built from fortresses here, going to start slapping away at Yellow's production. But Yellow, trying to fight a war on two fronts, quite ambitious. There's a lot of military here, though, for Blue to hold off. So it still isn't over by any means for Motobar. Gaia looks well positioned to win it at this rate. In Silver 7, thank you for the follow. We do appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying this absolutely mammoth game as we hit the 47-minute mark. Yellow is crushing it as they push yet another fortress down for Blue back to the town center. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, looks like Yellow has also managed to hold off Gaia's aggression just a little bit. Of course, is some portable ram action onto the palaces at the front of the yellow-teal divide on the map. So, Automaton doing the unthinkable and winning not just one front, but both fronts simultaneously. What a Chad. And it is looking very bad for Motobar now. We look at the point count, and we can see that Squanto and Automaton have exceeded Blue, and Blue, seeing the writing on the wall, taps out. Frere OP, says Motobar in chat. And yes, Frere OP, indeed. And yes, it is a good point. These two Vaults of Plenty doing a lot of work. And the damage is done. Yellow has succeeded in pushing Blue out of the game. And so this army should be packing up shop and heading all the way over to start trying to deal with this Gaia problem that he has in his back base. Losing one town center, not the end of the world at this stage of the game. The thing he wants to protect the most is these Vaults of Plenty. In terms of his economy, that's going to be the thing that keeps him healthy. Not to mention this trade line. Oh, but we do see... is this the fourth Inferno of the game? Citizens caught up in the mess. But there's no army here to follow it up, so while there was a lot of damage done to all the units there, not as much damage as you might think. If he can heal these up, and he can't, I don't think. But suffice to say, these citizens are still going to be able to build that town center without any trouble. Unbothered by yellow military. So the question will be, what is the plan from Gaia? Looks like Yellow's army is going to go on a world tour and attack Teal at his weakest point, which is where Golden Royal and his base used to be. And now the Gaia player is going to have to ask themselves where they want to defend. Do they just all in commit to this front fight? And I guess you do. They are gaining ground. And now it's a kind of a base trade, I guess you could say, Although there is a large army here from yellow to defend. But there's also a lot of portable rams in the south here. And all of these buildings going up. And of course, Norse military able to just build wherever with the military. Going to be able to conquer and build at the same time. Whereas Gaia going to have to build those citizens, bring those citizens forward, which does affect their economy overall. And not only that advantage, but of course, the vaults are plenty, meaning the discrepancy between the economies of both players definitely in favor of the Freya player. Automaton in it to win it, and the score reflects it. But it's going to be Vermillos, Fanatics, and Fire Siphons from Gaia. A few units in the corner. Couple of units looking for trade to hit as well. But yellow holding well in the north, in the south. Yellow also pushing out Gaia. And it certainly looks like the writing is on the wall. We'll have to see if Gaia has any tricks up their sleeves, but it's certainly a very yellow-dominated map for right now. The llamas prancing their way from town center to market. What's the gold looking like? 16 gold, not the greatest trade route, whereas we have a 141 gold trade route here for yellow. Wow. That's also a part of the problem, I would say. The map advantage is just well and truly in yellow's favor. And despite the fact that I felt that yellow was all-inning at the wrong times, they were able to do it. The late game of Freya just too strong, the units too healthy, was able to just hold both fronts simultaneously like a madman. And Gaia doing their best to try to take some ground and push Freya back, but it's not looking good. The trade route of Gaia, Squanto in a panic as the llamas run from the berserks, bashing them down as they ride right through yellow's freshly established production center. It's going to take the will of the gods and perhaps some guard towers to hold the advance of the yellow army. In the south, berserks run uncontained across the trade route of Gaia. No walls, no defenses, just a few fanatics at the river crossing here. And I'm curious just to have a quick look at the fishing economy of yellow. Definitely a late game consideration. Do we see much in the way of fishing? Yes, we do see a lot of fishing from Gaia as well. A lot of fishing here as well. Portable rams smacking away. Heavy portable rams, I should say. Able to get that town center. A bit of a containment of yellow in the north. Huge amounts of defensive buildings now. Will it be enough? In the south, yellow just building up speed, eliminating this town center, removing the last of Gaia's presence in the south before making their push towards the river crossing. But Fanatics coming all the way down towards the town center here, just trying to buy time, perhaps an overextension, but at this stage of the game, the micro is intense. Mismicros can happen. Overextensions are easy. And look at this, just while the battle's going on, these portable rams move forward and are able to slap down the fortress without much opposition. And there's just not enough military to go around for Gaia, and seemingly endless amounts of military for yellow. And a part of this is the gold differential. Let's have a quick look at the economy. We can see, oh, never mind. Gaia, admitting defeat, taps out, and it's an automaton win for our Game 1 in Group A of the DoD Underworld Free-for-All tournament. GG to all players. What a great game. It had it all. Ups and downs, betrayals, doubling team-ups, double-teaming players, potential comebacks. Well played. And GG to Automaton with the W. So let's go ahead and jump out here. Alright, well, without further ado, after a long wait, we are in to Game 2 of Group A in the first bi-monthly, or is it, anyway, whatever. It's the free-for-all DoD tournament hosted by Skirnir. Shoutouts to, I think this is Dodds Gray who made this map. Either that or Cody. And we do see some Egyptian representation on the map. Monthly game, yeah. It's because you said it's on the second Saturday of every month that I got my brain a little twisted. So, the map we're on is a custom map by the name of Hades map. It's going to offer a little bit of fishing in these pockets in the corner of the maps. Here's one in this corner, and if we travel a little bit southwest, we can see that there's a couple of pockets there, nothing crazy, but then the corners is where the real meat and potatoes is. So players, if they are aware of the map, and indeed the center of the map also has a little bit of fish going. So a couple of directions that players can choose to fight for fish if they want to. The players in the blue, Mataba. On Isis, in the green, Dod Marty, playing Freyr. Freyr, the winning god of last game. Darth Nox on Gaia. We saw a strong representation of Gaia from Squanto, who is in the red, and also playing Gaia this match. In the grey, it's Entropic. He switched from Loki to Hades for this map. It is, after all, Hades' map. In the yellow, Automaton, also on Freyr, winner of our last game. Can he get the W 2 games in a row? We'll have to stay tuned to find out. And Neo is how I'm going to pronounce this name. Switching from Freyr to Hades and playing in the orange yet again. We'll have a quick look at the relics. The Koppish of Horus, more damage to myth units. Black Lotus, villagers farm faster. Trojan Gate Hinge, all hit points increased. Girdle of Hippolyta, ranged soldiers have more hit points. Hermes Winged Sandals, improves hero speed. I'm just hearing in chat that Freya won both game ones, so that is a statistic worth noting. Rey's Crown. Town centers and village centers cost less and generate favor. What is the favor generation? Yeah, it's about the same as a relic, so nothing too crazy. Scales of Echidna for cheaper myth units. Gungnir Odin Spear for counter cavalry units to have an increase to their attack. We got Svaldulfari's Sledge to remove the favor cost for fortress type buildings. Bridle of the Pegasus for a free Pegasus Scout that spawns periodically at your temple. And the Nose of the Sphinx for building hit points increased. I think that's all of them. Dwarven Calipers as well in the corner there. And I think that's all the relics on the map. Staff of Dionysus, maybe we missed that. Villagers regenerate hit points, not a bad one. So, what do we see on the map? What do we see? It's still the early game. We do see an early prosperity coming out after aging up with Anubis for ISIS, which is an interesting strat. This prosperity timing would imply potentially a fast second town center. It could be also a fast heroic age. We'll have to wait and see what comes of that. Let's have a quick look. We can see what players are aging up with. Oceanus for Squanto. Darth Nox, the fill-in, who's come to join the tournament to fill in for Golden Royal, whose internet was having troubles, has gone for Leto. So we're going to see Oceanus versus Leto for the Gaia neighbors, who are right next to each other. It's, of course, Ulir for the green Freya player. For Automaton, hasn't queued up Age 2 just yet, going instead for a few more villages before clicking the button. For the Hades players, it's going to be Athena and Athena. Well, there you go. And what I suspect, I don't know, I have this feeling, and it could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, you can call me out in chat. But I have a feeling that these Atlantean brethren, these neighbors, I have a feeling there's an unspoken truce between these players. I think the Gaia mains, they communicate telepathically. That's my suspicion. And I have a feeling they're communicating and coordinating for game domination to bring Gaia the W for today through hell or high water. We'll have to see if that comes true. Town Center snapped up early by Squanto. I believe Squanto was the first to grab a Town Center in Game 1 as well. Plenty of fishing for Darth Nox in the corner, having secured this spot quite early. That's going to lead them strong into the mid-game. Of course, Automaton, our winner from Game 1 in the yellow, having grabbed the fish in the east corner. And predictably, blue grabbing fish in the north, and red grabbing fish in the south, leaving green and orange without fish of their own for just now. Walls going up for green in certain spots, key spots. No one bold enough to fish in the center for just now. Fishing in vulnerable locations too quickly can lead to some serious trouble. Do see a second town center for a few players now. Isis, of course. Hades. Automaton on Freya. Darth Nox still not with a second town center, having invested quite heavily into a fishing economy. It's going to set them pretty well. Of course, you can think of two docks as kind of like being village centers in the form of fishing boats being a source of income. So he's ramping up his economy pretty quickly either way. Will probably expand soon, though, I imagine. And the Egyptian outlier, Isis. Very strong late game, of course. It'll be interesting to see how the Egyptian boom performs in the free-for-all setting. Of course, whatever theory you might have, whatever strategy is at play, the chaos of a free-for-all can just sometimes get the better of you. One player may get double-teamed. Maybe you get a lot of space to just boom in your corner of the map without being disturbed. Anything could happen. Another town center here for red. Hades in the grey and Tropic. A determined hanger-on from last game. Oh, and we do see a little bit of a restoration going down to try to save these villages from an early expansion. And it worked to some degree. Automaton backing off, but Nadam Neo having to give up that town center. And the hill fort coming down as well. Where did that get placed? That was a yellow Asgardian hill fort, was it not? Am I crazy? Ah, it must have been a green Asgardian hill fort, and I missaw it. You'll have to forgive me for a couple of speaking and casting mistakes here and there, as it is very early in the morning for me. My brain is starting to slow down just a touch, just a small amount. Quite a military force here for Darth Nox already. Automatons out on the field. And finally starting to expand his town center coverage. The Freyr player here in the green, looking like they're content to turtle, building walls and defenses and such, hoping to be left alone here at the start of the game. Cheeky little obelisk here, potentially leaving a gap in the wall here for green. Well, I wonder if that will come into play later. Perhaps, perhaps not. And again, I strongly suspect that the Atlantean players will make a kind of temporary peace with each other as they seek to push in the other flank. For red, it will be into grey to the east. Although Greeks are very powerful in Age 2. We do see some Mamillo slapping away at a dock already, trying to get grey out from their pond that is rightfully theirs, as they would say. Quite a lot of hoplites here, not to mention the Minotaur. No small thing to beat back when you don't have any units heroized yet. Couple of Caladria though. 2 out now so they can heal each other, and they'll need to because Greek heroes are no joke. Achilles in the mix. Meanwhile, oh, we do see a Gullen Bursty as Darth Nox goes very early for some aggression on green. I did miss that there. Lost a lot of his automatons though to break the wall, and managed to get Gullen Bursty out of green though early, so that's off the cards for now. We do see a forest fire coming down from yellow to push orange back to try to secure this. Is it a 4th town center? I believe it is. But the forest fire not going to be positioned well enough to stop the orange aggression. And orange able to slap down this town center and stop the dreaded 4th town center expansion from Automaton. Very greedy indeed. But grey and red going to be slapping away at each other, as there is a temporary peace between teal and green after a small little exchange. Darth Nox building up his military for his next play. Carnivora coming down. Minotaur and an H3 Manticore in the mix. Gullen Bursty from yellow coming down now to push orange back. Battle balls coming out as players start to hit Age 3 in earnest. A very back and forth exchange from yellow. And red and grey as well. Peace in other parts of the map for right now. Manticore manages to make it out. Romillo slapping Achilles down. And the Caladria are doing work to keep Red's army strong and healthy. But Toxotes into the mix now. Gonna cause the Mamillo's pause. Mamillo's, despite looking quite bare, they're deceptively tanky. A lull in the violence. Darth Nox grabbing another town center. This will be his 3rd. Meanwhile, Automaton grabs his 4th. And does so whilst trying to fight off Orange from slapping away at his northmost position. 2 watchtowers here to help defend. And there's a lot of military from Orange, but he's fighting into 2 battle boars. A bunch of Jarls, not to mention the town center and 2 towers worth of defense. It's a difficult position. Meanwhile, blue, sitting pretty up to not much in the top of the map. Got a couple of Migdols out, starting to build chariot archers. And let me tell you, that's going to be a pain in everyone's side shortly. But who will they attack first? That remains to be seen. Marty with their army. Looks like they're going to take the fight to blue. But then what of Darth Nox? Huge army there for him. Currently not being used to apply pressure on the map for right now, as he sets up his spider mines around the place. Grey and red still clashing with each other, neither player seemingly having an advantage. Meanwhile, green and blue fighting over this Asgardian hill fort. Tempest comes out, Locust, the snakes, restoration over here for grey and red. And it's going to be a Manticore traded by Squanto. Grey has to turn his arrows onto it. Galadriel flying for their lives. The Asgardian hill fort manages to get up. Another hill fort being slapped down by Marty. And he's successfully taking space. He probably wants to grab this town center, not to mention deny it from Blue, who is quickly becoming a problem as yet more buildings come up. Production in the form of siege workshops to apply pressure to the buildings. And a bit of a stalemate between orange and yellow as well. This position being held now by an additional tower. Too tough to crack, but it's Mythic Age for Isis, and that means Son of Osiris. Looks like Darth Nox has applied a little bit of pressure to red. Just a little. Hasn't extended too far into his base. And just as well, because Squanto and Entropic are really bashing heads like crazy. Fortresses being denied on the front line. Palaces being queued up to be built. Shades of Hades diving onto citizens in the back line. Terma all around the place. Quantarius trying to keep up as blue looms over this green position in the north. And look at this. We do see a Skylar smashing away at Egyptian's boat economy as Orange thinks about making another push into yellow territory. But the battle at the border for red and grey continuing very atrociously. The palace has been prevented for now. A curse going down for orange. Right here, grabbing a whole bunch of pigs, trying to deny this army, well, trying to stop this army from denying this fortress, I should say. And Darth Nox treeing up his life, building a forest over here, getting lots of dryads ready. And look at this, the army of Darth Nox clashing with his dryads, Ballista, Kyra Ballister, I should say. But there's quite a lot of army here for Norse as well. These portable rams not going to be able to have much of an impact on this fight. Throwing axemen in the back, trying their best to cut through, but dryads forming a great front line for the berserk throwing axemen combo. The rock giant is here, but it's perhaps a tad too late. Notably, only Isis has hit Mythic Age for right now, and it makes sense. The fast Mythic for Isis is, of course, crazy quick. Each other player too busy smacking away at other players. Oh, and we do see our first tap out. Marty in the green, feeling like they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Says, I understand where this is going. I'm not going to play 20 minutes out just to be snuffed out like a candle. And taps out. Well played to them. Sometimes it happens. Unfortunate. The Gaia players deciding to form an uneasy truce, it would seem. The palace did manage to come up here, but so did the fortress, another palace in the corner. Sentinels around this fortress trying to help hold the line. But there's quite a lot of red here, and I'm not seeing a large grey army. Meanwhile, yellow manages to reach Mythic Age and throws out the Inferno straight away. Does catch the tail end of the orange army, not to mention dealing most of its damage on both of those fortresses there, allowing the yellow army to just clean those fortresses up and turn their sights onto the orange mass, forcing him back. And it's not looking good for orange. Although blue and teal are now at odds. As this town center just gets built just in time by the citizens of Dark Nox. But the military isn't here, and the blue mass is marching southward. A lot of camels, a lot of chariot archers. not to mention some siege, and this town center, you know, more or less completely destroyed. There it is. Stymphalian birds in the sky trying to clean up the mess have been buffed in the latest patch, so I haven't been able to see how well that buff has done for them. But it certainly seems to be cleaning up this military here for blue. More units being rallied forward, but the pendulum swings back in Darth Nox's favor. Over here, orange and yellow still fighting. Orange on the back foot. The Freyr army, the Great Jarls, well and truly in effect. Not to mention Age 4. Managed to get the settlement of Orange here. And that's going to put a huge dampener in the economy of Orange. It looks like Yellow has won this fight, but it's not over yet. Meanwhile, Darth Nox managed to push Isis back, but the Son of Osiris is still very much alive and well. But without a billion Migdol strongholds, it's not easy to rebuild as Egypt too quickly, despite the fact that their train time of their fortress tier units very low compared to other pantheons. And we do see Orange tapping out, which makes sense. They put up a good fight, but this little battle over here from Automaton really did seal the deal on the expansion plans of Orange, and they didn't really recover. Not to mention, Freyr is just a very strong god generally, especially in this format, as we've seen. Meanwhile, Red and Grey still battling it out. Looks like Gaia is getting the edge, but there's lots of Peltasts for Grey, and they're going to try to deal with this Arcus mass. But these heavy destroyers are marching forward, and they're going to be a pretty effective front line against Peltasts. The Arcus trading seemingly reasonably well, thanks to the advantage on their range, although I don't think... What is the range here? We see 20 range there versus 20. Okay, so it's about the same. Without the upgrade from the Age 4... What is it, Atlas? No, it's Helios, I think. Need that range upgrade from that to get the upper hand. Automaton, now at odds with Blue, trying to build up a couple of hill forts to claim some space. Darth Nox, meanwhile, just clearing out Green's base, trying to just take these town centers, not to mention this land, whatever resources are left. There's a handful of gold here being harvested by Blue, but the Mamillo are here to clear them out, and managed to get 1,000 gold out of the deal. But gonna lose all these laborers in exchange. So looking at the scoreboard, yeah, Grey and Red have really been fighting themselves to a standstill, falling at the bottom of the scoreboard. Meanwhile, no surprises here. Automaton at the top, using that Freyr tech to just boom out of control. Darth Nox actually second on the scoreboard. A part of that is them being able to clear out a lot of these buildings here for Green for free after a quick tap out. We'll have to see if Darth Nox could spiral into a strong position as Blue and Yellow fight. I think the Son of Osiris just fell. A lot of mummies here, though. 8 mummies. Will it be enough to start spawning some minions and get things out of control? The Fafnir goes down, donating gold to all the other players. I think I saw a few players getting some gold out of the deal there. Bit of a retreat as the Jarls push forward. Another Migdol going down. The laborers taking the brunt from a couple of Jarls trying to stop them from building, but they managed to get it up. Catapults in the mix. Bit out of position, but the army of Isis holding the line just barely. Nothing but throwing axemen left, and that's going to be a lot of minions from the mummies. As Yellow is forced to retreat. Red, slowly but steadily taking ground from Grey. An uneasy truce between Grey and Yellow. As Blue tries to put the pressure on, but these Jarls, it's difficult to deal with them. They just have a lot of HP. Their counter units aren't super duper effective against them just because they tank it just with raw stats. Town Center does go up, but these portable rams going to be a problem. Chariot archers using the walls there to their advantage to pull back. But these Jarls, very expensive, but streaming out from the production of yellow. Solving the Jarl problem is going to be the key to winning this match. As red manages to take another town center from grey, as grey does his best to send the army southward to try to force them back, but the damage is done, the town center is dead, and it's another victory for red. Meanwhile, Darthnox marching his army across the map, scouting, but also looking for targets, managing to find a lot of the central gold mines, but no pathway across and up into yellow's base. I have a feeling Darthnox feels that yellow is the strongest contender, perhaps looking to hit them while they fight with blue. Blue, meanwhile, slowly losing ground, not able to produce not only the right kind of units, but just units, as these portable rams, not to mention the Jarls, stream forward, breaking walls. Into the double Migdol, though, you can see the damage being dealt by these Migdols. Significant. Definitely significant. The mummy mass of ISIS dwindled somewhat. 4 of them left, currently. As the Stymphalian birds come across the map, looking for targets, looking to just take out any of Yellow's economy. Bit of a coordinated effort here, perhaps in the chat between players. We do miss out on some of the politics that happened live in these matches. And these labourers desperate to hold on to this Migdol, but the portable rams unrelenting. These Stymphalian birds trying to get some value, but there's a couple of Godschalk in play and are able to pressure them pretty well. They're not going to find any value on these fortress settlement position here. It's curtains for those birds. Meanwhile, we do see Darthnox coming in to finish off Grey, it would seem, moving his army directly through Grey's base, and potentially trying to finish off this little army, chasing them down, while the other half of his army goes for the remaining town center. It's not looking good for Grey. Stalemate now between yellow and blue, as yellow sizes up and deals with the last of the disruption to his economy, builds up his force, ready to make another push into Egyptian territory, and the labourers trying to just build some defences, get a bit of a stronghold here. And there we see Entropic tapping out there, as the Gaia team-up of the century wipes them out. But now a bit of a clash between red and teal, as the two Atlantean players do battle. I'd be interested to see if Darthnox continues this push. I suspect he might. If Darthnox can take over the rest of the map while yellow and blue fight, he's going to be in a strong position to win, but this could also come back to hurt him. His closest neighbour and him going to war is kind of like this up here, you know, it's going to just end up weakening them both. Squanto says GG. Yes, GG, my friend. Perhaps spoilers in the chat. A little bit of an implosion coming forth. It's going to do a lot of damage to Darthnox, but will it be enough? It certainly does a lot of damage to the army of Darthnox. Meanwhile, yellow seemingly able to just have the gumption to push back blue, destroy that Migdol, destroy that town center. Blue just wasn't able to get the army together. Squanto, seeing the writing on the wall, taps out, conceding to Darthnox's aggression. And so now there are 3 players left on the map. And Automaton definitely in a position to win it. Darthnox with a heavy point lead, but the late game of Freyr, so scary. So we'll have to see if the machinations of Darthnox is enough to get him the W? Or is the Freya late game simply too strong at this point after this much snowballing? But it's going to take time for the likes of Motobar to bow out. It's not going to be an easy affair, unless they just concede. In which case, Yellow can turn his attentions to other parts of the map. But if Motobar plays this out, it could buy Darth Nox enough time to get himself into position. Having a quick look at the upgrades. It's iron weapons, bronze shield, still not fully upgraded, although there's plenty of good stuff here. Volcanic Forge. Yeah, a little potential spoilers in the chat. Yellow with a few berserks doing some scouting. Yes, there is the tap out. Oh, this is quite interesting. We do see the tap out from Motobar, so there it is. But we also see... where is it? Can I find it quickly? My tired brain, please. Yes, right here. It's a Titan Gate for Darth Nox. Deciding to answer the strength of the Mythic Age. Oh, but what's this? An Inferno being cast directly on the army of Darth Nox. Definitely going to do some damage, but Darth Nox managing to get to the edges of the area of effect. Not able to take full damage there. Still lost quite a bit. We do see a whole bunch of Lampades. I'm not quite sure. Lampades is how I'm going to pronounce that. Who are here to cause some trouble. Very strong tier 4 unit. But yes, Darth Nox anticipating the strength of the Mythic Age for Freyr by just going for a Titan early. And, you know, a little bit of a Tartarian Gate as well, right on the trade line, not to mention the town center. It's a great Tartarian Gate. We're going to see a whole lot of chaos caused by these devil spawns as they jump into action. But the Berserks are here, and they're going to try to bash it down quickly. If Darth Nox can get his army to the north to defend it, it's potentially a very damaging spot of area denial. But it looks like that's not going to be happening in time, as the Tartarian Gate goes to half HP, quarter HP, and soon will be dead. But it's 50% on this Titan Gate. And will Automaton have the setup to stop the push of a Titan? Choosing instead of going for a Titan Gate himself to instead build and spread out across the map, try to get the eco and the population count climbing. And it will work out very well for them. But there is a trade route for Darth Nox. There is a trade route of 45 for the Ox Caravans versus the 27 currently for the Llama trade route. But the Gaia army streams forth, trying to deny the space claim from the yellow swarm as it spreads out across the map like a plague. And Darth Nox going to need to slow yellow down as much as possible, whilst also consolidating his economy. And Darth Nox doing a good job of containing the yellow spread. A few Berserks looking for that Titan Gate, and they found it. But with the palace here, it's not going to be easy for them to stop the citizens from building as we reach 70% on the Titan Gate. And the thing is, as well, is that it's not just the Titan Gate that Darth Nox is making a play for. I suspect he goes for the Wonder Age as well. We'll have to see if he can fit that in. It's difficult, of course. The economy boom is strong, but maybe not strong enough, as yellow is spread all the way to the trade line for Darth Nox. And now he's going to have to turn his military here to contain the yellow spread into his territory, as this town center got taken. Not to mention, and I'm sure you all just saw it. Where is it? Can I find it? There it is. There is now a Titan Gate being slammed down by Automaton. And timing-wise, if Darth Nox can get the Titan over to his enemy Titan Gate to destroy it, well, that's a big shift in the favor of Gaia. But this is building so quickly. I have a feeling that he's not going to be able to get over there in time. Not to mention he has other problems to attend to on the map, like all these berserks in the back line. It's a tough position for Darth Nox. It's a tough position. But he will be first to reach Titan Gate, and that counts for something, as he manages to contain the yellow threat in the north. Not to mention he's bought himself some time in the south. Doesn't want to throw units away too readily. Got to be careful. It's difficult, of course, to micro at this late stage in the game. There's a whole map to occupy, as both players are trying to just destroy what's left of the remaining players' buildings, or the I should say the corpse of both players. But here it is, climbing out from the pits of the underworld themselves. It's the Atlantean Titan, the flaming behemoth, styled after Kronos himself, or at least the way he's depicted in this game. And the Titan is on the field. And the Titan is making a beeline right across the map towards the heart of the Freyr stronghold. But it's 92% on the Titan Gate here for Automaton. So before Darth Nox's Titan can even cross the map, the Ice Giant, or the Ymir, right, is who this is meant to be styled after, is present and ready, and the battle begins as the Darth Nox army starts hitting the north side of Automaton's base. Automaton spread out though across the map, doesn't have all his army here, and the Titan alone may not be enough to hold the line, although there's plenty of heroes present. There's definitely a lot of military here. All the town centers for both players means that there's going to be a lot of military just for everyone, and the flaming weapons being saved for this occasion probably going to be clutch, as all of these Jarls and Hearse are getting a circle beating on this Titan, flaming weaponing it all the way down. But there are so many heroes here for Darth Nox as well, and both Titans are being torn down very quickly. But the flaming weapon value is huge, and it's causing quite a disruption to both players' military. There goes the Atlantean Titan, there goes the Norse Titan, and there's 10 seconds left on flaming weapons. And just like that, both players pretty much getting zero value out of their Titans, more or less. So both players countering each other's Titans quite well, and to Darth Nox's credit, he did it right through the flaming weapons as well, and comes out on top with the military. So while the flaming weapons did their job, got the Titan down, it was at the cost of a very powerful cooldown of their own. But here's Ghoul and Bursty to try to stop the advance of Darth Nox's might. But the town center going down quickly. Ghoul and Bursty slapping away at units, definitely causing problems, but it requires a little bit of micro. And Darth Nox very cleverly pulling the units that are under aggro away. And they're all heroes. So the myth unit that is Ghoul and Bursty are going to be torn down now quite quickly now that the town center has been dealt with. Across other parts of the map, we do see some of the Yellow Army trying to establish a foothold in the south. But Darth Nox with the Dryads here, ready to respond. No, not many heroes in this part of the map, so those Dryads are going to be a real problem for the infantry there of Yellow to deal with, as Darth Nox just moves on to the next town center. Of course, town center is the name of the game. Each one you tear down means less population cap, of course, so it's key. Not to mention the trade route coming right past this location, and there's going to be a lot of oxen dead here in the streets. It's hard to say which player has an advantage. There is a hill fort here in the back, with some units, Huskars here, coming forward to claim a location right in the north of Darthnox's base. I wonder if he'll be able to catch that in time. There are some portable rams coming in the back to slam this town center. Of course, the Dryads are here to answer the call, not to mention citizens being pulled from their farms to kill those portable rams quickly. And manages to hold on to this location, keeps the town center alive, but there's town centers being built right under the nose of Darthnox. His army can't be everywhere at once, but getting this trade route is certainly hugely valuable, stemming the flow of gold for any player at this stage of the game is a death sentence. Of course, there are still some gold nodes on the map all over the place, so trade isn't the only option for gold. Looks like, thanks to that portable ram push in the back, Automaton able to successfully get a foothold here in the south. Plenty of town centers over here being built. So Darthnox having his work cut out for him. There's just so many buildings scattered about the place as players have been trading positions. But this town center doesn't quite finish going up, and Darthnox is able to get on top of this location, shut it down, not to mention spread his own town centers around the place. So it's hard to say which player has the advantage. If you look at the score, it's definitely in Darthnox's favor, but it's anyone's game at this point. Both players making good decisions as the military push from Automaton in the south starts hitting some of the core production of Darthnox. He's going to have to get some military here to defend. There's quite a lot of heroes here. There's berserks, there's some portable rams. It's a little bit of everything. And Dryads alone ain't going to cut it, as he brings his army south as quick as he can. But they're going to get a lot of damage done. To his credit, he's managed to secure the north pretty well at this point. It's going to be difficult for Yellow to attack in two locations at once, so if he can contain the southern push and stop its momentum just a little bit, he may well be well positioned to really put the chokehold on Automaton. I can't call it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know which way this game is going to go at this point. It's really up in the air. We do know how strong Freya's late game is, though, so that we could see that start kicking into effect. But the economy of Automaton has taken a huge hit. But despite that, if we look, you can see he's got no gold, he's got no food. So all the military you see on the map, that's it. Whereas we look at Darthnox and his economy, quite healthy by comparison. Quick look at the villager count as well. It's nearly full villager count for Darthnox. And indeed, it's a full villager count for Automaton as well. So we'll have to see who can come out on top. In the game of attrition, the economy of Automaton is maxed out. He's spending it as quickly as it's coming in. And that's very efficient. Darthnox not able to spend as efficiently, but also that could be a sign of the fact that he's been getting more value over time. We do see a war being fought on two fronts by both players now as more military moves in for Darthnox to the north. In the south, there's a few units lurking, trying to protect the town centers that he has over here. Not to mention, there's a bit of an attack on the economy as villagers are slaughtered right under the town center here by a couple of heavy Contarius. Some Dryads marching in as well. And this town center falls as well. Darthnox able to well and truly hold this north location and stop Yellow from reclaiming it. And I have a feeling we're seeing a steady snowball in Darthnox's favor. Has he finally done it? Is this going to be the first player to beat a Freya here in the first monthly DoD free-for-all tournament? This trade route, 76 gold apiece. It's going to help kickstart the Freya economy back into action. But is it too little too late? We do see a lot of throwing axemen being built over here trying to stop this town center from falling, but down it goes. And that's all she wrote. There's going to be a lot of a banking economy here for Darthnox. Portable rams coming out from this hill fort looking to get a little bit of value, but there's a lot of citizens here, and they're probably going to be able to just tear down these portable rams before they get much value. And Darthnox, he's sharp, he's on top of it, and he pulls his units off the wood line to deal with them quickly. Over here, we do see a little bit of a pushback from Yellow. In the south, his big foothold is still well and truly intact, as his military here able to pick off the little bits of teal military that are being rallied to the south. Sort of due to Miss Micro giving away a couple of units pretty easily for free here, although looks like splitting the army of Yellow here is going to cause Darthnox to be able to retain some value, trade reasonably well. In the north, another clash at another skirmish takes place over this town center. Looks like Darthnox also taking advantage over here, although it's about even. This hill fort still well and truly strong. More units being rallied to the north. In the south, Darthnox putting the pressure now onto that southern foothold as more palaces go up. Skirmishes in the center as well. How many resources does Automaton have? That's a good question. He's doing all right. His gold is well and truly back in hand thanks to this trade route. His food economy is doing okay, and that's part and parcel due to the fishing economy in the back here. And yeah, he's spending his resources fairly efficiently. Darthnox, though, able to bank his resources up because he's getting more efficient trades. Yeah, and indeed the favor. 500 favor just about for Darthnox and for Automaton both. So anyone's game in that regard. And now something interesting about the banking resources. Oh, we do see a Inferno coming through for Frere, spending that favor. And a little underwhelming. A little underwhelming. How much favor did that cost him? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. Quite a lot of favor spent for not a lot of value gained. Meanwhile, Darthnox, nearly has enough resources to consider building a wonder. So that's something to think about. But he may not need to. Another town center falls as Yellow tries to reclaim some space on this map. Able to start causing some troubles in the north as Darthnox takes this southern foothold. It may be a good trade for Darthnox, I feel, although the trade route is directly affected by this, and the citizen pool can't stop that. We do see a couple of town centers being built in a flurry. But again, as Darthnox's trade route is affected, so too is Automaton's, as they sort of base trade in a anti-clockwise circle around the map. It's anyone's game still. You do see the citizen count. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Is it? Yeah, sorry. I am looking at Darthnox's economy. So the citizen count has taken a dip in the north because that's where most of them were. But again, the building has to be done by the military. And so as Yellow spreads himself across the map to build, it allows for Darthnox's military to kind of take advantage. But now that he's secured the south, despite this singular hill fort, Darthnox now marches his army north to try to contain this steadily building foothold in the north. Looks like he's going to be able to make it in time. But this is, of course, where only some of Yellow's army is, as he marches the lion's share of his force to the south. These fire siphons looking to put pressure in the south. He's going to lose a lot of citizens here. How many is it? 17 citizens as they try to dive into this town center. And it will buy some time, but he's definitely going to lose the southern position. Can't be everywhere at once. Both players finding it difficult to really split themselves well across both flanks, as Darthnox is going to have to try to clean up this location. And there goes the town center, not to mention he managed to get a whole bunch of the citizens out, but the Berserks are right on top of them. There's not enough military here for Darthnox to defend, and it's kind of it's a tough position. It's a tough position for Darthnox all of a sudden. He had so much momentum there, but with the economy, the trade route in the south was really able to get Automaton back into the game, and now the Freya economy is well and truly throwing itself into the front lines and all conceivable angles. There's berserks everywhere across the map. There's just such a pendulum swinging for both players. Right where one player takes, another player falls, and then they switch places, and it happens all over again. If we look at the economy, we can see that Darthnox still has a healthy bank, but now Freya is building up a bank as well. Not to mention, we did have a whole bunch of citizens die. And Darthnox feels that he is behind, which he is, to be fair, and he concedes, giving Freya... I think that's been 4 Freya wins across both groups in the tournament. We had 2 Freya wins from Automaton himself. Well played, it should be said. In Group A, and then in Group B, I think Nito had the big W with Freya 2 times. Norse is cancer, says Darthnox in chat. And well, it may be true. GG's to everyone. That's going to be a tournament concluded. 4 games, 4 Freya wins, 2 winners. Nito and Automaton winning their brackets, each with a solid 2-0 victory for both of them.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna pause for a second, maybe not even. So, let me do the intro again. We are today playing the Underworld FFA hosted by the DoD clan. This is going to be 4 games, 2 of them streamed on Twitch by Floom, 2 of them streamed on YouTube by me. You are presumably watching this right now, since you are hearing me say that. Either now or DoD. We're going to play on 2 types of maps. It's going to be 1 water map and 1 nomad map. So for my group, Group B, they start with a water map, there is some fish all over the map, and the second one is going to be the nomad map. So this is an FFA. As always, all the players are against each other. They are allowed to form alliances if they speak in the chat, so that everyone can see what's going on. Unfortunately, I cannot see the chat when I spectate, which is not the best. And yeah, that's about it. There's 6 people right now in this group. I'm gonna do a little introduction of all the players here today. So DoD Dagon is a member who joined a couple months ago, I think, who's been volunteering a few things to help out with, for instance, this event, hosting the map and doing a few things behind the scenes. Here is also, yes, that is how I do this. TXMZ, TXMs, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that. He's a player I haven't heard about much before. I might have seen a few messages in Discord, but nothing that I remember. I'm quite curious to see what sort of level he's got and what he's gonna go for. So he's playing as Poseidon, which I forgot to mention is playing as Chenong. Let's go with Rocco next. Rocco is also a DoD member. He just hasn't joined the clan in-game because there's been a few difficulties with the UI. And he's today playing with Paul. He's one of the more recent additions to the clan. And pretty skilled, like around 1400, 1500 elo from what I recall. So even peaking at 1600, I think. That should be interesting. Here is Nito, who Likewise, I haven't seen much in the Discord chat, unless maybe he's got a different nickname there. He's playing as Freyr, so we've got quite a few Norse here today. There's 2 Freyr and 1 4. I'm quite interested to see if both of the Freyr players are going to go for the late game, potentially. Which makes quite a bit of sense in an FFA, but they might be taken by surprise by someone else attacking them. And Red Cardinal is playing as Loki, and I hadn't recognized the portrait at first. So there's 4 Norse actually in this match, this FFA. I wonder if he's going to be doing some sort of early aggro, maybe a heroic push, or maybe just going to boom, which has quite some potential to do with Heimdall, but we see that he's going Freya, so that wouldn't seem to be the case. And last player right now is Kleb, who likewise I haven't heard about, but looking at him, he's from the clan Chad. That's going to be interesting to see him as well. And I see that the Freya players are red across from each other. So I'm going to have the entire map revealed for now. And I usually prefer to have it from the player's point of view and switch between the player's point of view, but this is not a 1v1, so it makes, I think, more sense to have everything revealed. So our Shannon player is going up with Chio. We saw that our Loki player was going up with Freya. Our Kleb is going up with Ula. Nito is also going up with Ula, which makes sense. It's going to be an FFA, it's going to be pretty defensive, potentially. Of course, aggro can work and could work very well, but so can defense. Poseidon has each up with Hermes, TXMs. I'm gonna go with TXMs. Or TXMs. Okay, so we see TXMs already going for a second TC, so he's planning to play the long game. Now, is it gonna be 2 TC into some aggro, 2 TC into a Hurricane? Maybe going for a Mythic Age with a Thyroid, which could work very well. Kleb is walling off here. He's potentially going to go for this town center with this nice hunt there. Has any player gone for fish yet? Okay, so Nito just has. I think he just started. And Dagon has as well. But the other players just haven't. Which is, I think, a bit of a missed opportunity. That's quite a bit of fish. And it's not going to scale amazingly into the late game, but it's going to be a very interesting and powerful food income until early Mythic for sure. And it's pretty safe on this map, since besides this sort of lagoon, lake at the center, it's all in the corners, pretty safe behind the players. Now we see Rocco going for a dock of his own, before Kleb can do so. Kleb is himself going for a TC, so is Rocco. We do not see Red Cardinal going for one yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does at some point. It's interesting, Nito hasn't gone for a second TC as well. I wonder if, to some extent, that's because they're playing North and don't have too many units to build it with at first. That is a bit unfortunate to have only 2 fish, but not very much product. That's going to take a long time to pay off, but the situation is much better on this side. Oh, we see a Berserk fighting a Shade in winning, which is almost surprising to me. But it's a classical age Berserk, so it does some damage. And Dagon hasn't gone for a town center either. As the usual scouts roaming around the map. I wonder if Dagon might be going for a fast heroic and wanting to put down a Baule over here to secure his gold mine and this hunt while putting pressure onto Nito. Tixams is well established on the back of his map. I would like to see a dog right there, that would be nice. Doesn't seem to be aiming for a heroic age at the moment. Gathering quite a lot of gold, I'm not sure what that's about. These villagers are cute. Onto food over here, onto wood on this side. Pleb may potentially be going for a hairy cage. We can get that macro, but potentially not. Because those are 7 dwarves, which is a lot of gold income compared to 12 villagers on food. Roku is going for a second dock. He just doesn't want any trailing time between his ships. And here's the first attack of the game. Red Cardinal is rushing Roku. A decent size army. And this is gonna hurt for Roku. Losing quite a few units, a couple of crafts, or villagers maybe. But he's now pushed off. But of course he's not exactly fleeing. Okay, this seems to be where it stops for now. Nito has gone for his second town center. Dagon still hasn't, and hasn't jumped ages yet. Although he has a pretty huge ratio, and as soon as the armory comes in, he has started. Okay. Tixems has switched up his macro and is now going to be aiming for a hairy cage. Not too much going on Kleb's side. And here's more action. Well, I do like to see this early aggro. Since Red Cardinal is only on 1 TC, he's taking rather heavy losses, and that's going to cost him a lot, especially versus a Roko who is playing as 4, so who has better units to start with his armory upgrades, and who has a second TC, and like he actually has eco to back up his losses, which isn't so much the case for Red Cardinal. Oh, no, that's just a shade. Now that Gleb is going for some more attacks. He might have scouted that Roku is on this side and just didn't want to bother. But he's a bit late to capitalize on this spawn, but since Tixems just hasn't gone for it, that's quite okay. There's a Pegasus of Nito, so he must have gotten the relic Bridle of Pegasus. That is right. First to the heritage is Dagon. And are we gonna see a... Sounds like some villagers have died. Oh wow. Tixems is now raiding Dagon, who's gonna be pressured on this side with something to worry about on this side, potentially. Especially since I suppose he doesn't really know what's going on back there. So that has a few picks for Tixems, which is nice. Tixems is ready to go to the hairy cage, but just like Dagon, he hasn't got any armory up yet. Red Cardinal is falling behind. We now start to see this a slower echo from only being on 1 town center being reflected in the score. And okay, Fab wants to secure this hunt, this gold mine. That sounds good. And the second is getting hill for traps. Okay. That's a pretty big deal, because Dagon is going to be either pushed back off of this gold mine and hunt, unless he actually comes to fight for it, but yeah, it's just out of line of sight. But he does spot it like that. Now, this could make or break the game for Dagon here. Can he? No, he cannot deny this hill fort after with that little time remaining. But he might be able to win this fight, especially with the Fabis now. It looks like Nito is winning this pretty hard, and harder by the second. Because the Sarso just do not care about those mech units. I think if Dagon had been a bit quicker to drop his volley over here maybe, before this hill fort came up, like he could have with maybe a bit of market micro, That would have been great. And now he's being pushed on the other side by Tixams. So this is quite a perilous situation for him. Rocco has just grabbed a third town center and has decided that he might as well destroy that wall with his Kraken. So not quite any fighting right now on this side, but it might not be long from now. And Nito is pushing even harder on Dagon now, with Tixam still roaming about. I like Rocco's taking down that town. Not any fighting going on here yet. And not really anything here either. That is a wall of houses if I've ever seen one. And a pretty beautiful one too. I would love to see that TC being grabbed and a dock being built there. That relic while you're at it. We're gonna have to do a farm transition at some point. Okay, the fighting has started over here. With both a Frost and a Tempest. I like this move from Rocco. He knows he just cannot win this fight. He has to build by himself sometime. Oh, but Rocco is gonna be attacked on both sides now. He doesn't have a military. I think taking that DC was a mistake. He probably would have been better off with a hill port. Just go for the TC. That TC should already be down by now. Looks like on this side Rocco has stabilized. Tixams and Nito have backed off. Is anyone going Mythic Cage? Not that I can see. And it looks like Rocco is sacking this position and choosing to take this fight over here, which I think is the right move. And I think Red Cardinal missed his opportunity to take down that TC. Well, Sims is actually winning this fight, so I think that TC might still be going down. A few yards coming in. Now Kleb is taking this spot and he's well on his way to being the top dog in this game. Oh, and a fight has broken out in the top of the map. So I guess Dagon was trying to push onto Tixams, but then Tixams Bronze is pushing him back very strongly. He probably has spotted this fortress and just doesn't want to fight into it, but I don't think he's gonna survive still. So this is Rocco's first fire. And he's just... okay, he managed to push back Red Cardinal and he's just trying to survive versus Gleb right now. But Tixams is winning this fight pretty hard. Although Dagon has by no means lost that position yet. And now Rocco is in a ton of trouble. He might be... okay, he's just going on this wood line. I'm not sure what he's gonna do, besides just maybe hope that Gleb and Red Cardinal kill each other. Okay, I like to see this hill fort. With just a 1 or 2 units, which is gonna be enough to get it up in time, because he's got his army in the front then. Like, there's no need to have 10 units on top of it. Okay, Rocco is pretty desperate right now. He's converted a bunch of berserks. Is he doing a berserker rock of sorts? That's 65 berserks. I don't know if it's gonna be enough, but it's a lot of berserks. I don't think it's gonna be enough. Certainly not versus Gleb, but it's gonna be enough versus Red Cardinal. And he doesn't have an echo to speak of anymore. I think he was just a sort of let's go up in flames in an epic fight sort of idea. And yeah, the fighting is continuing between Tixams and Dagon. I'm not quite sure why Dagon went on this gold. I guess he just doesn't have any other option. That's very bad for Dagon. And on this side, Kleb has just completely won the map. What was even killing this? He might have just deleted it. Rocco does have a few units here, and hasn't rendered, so he might be onto something, but I haven't quite caught on myself. Yep, Dagon is going back on this gold mine, and it's just not working for him. And he's been pushed off this one, so it's gonna be market macro time. Speaking of a market, does any of the players have one? Yes. Kleb does, and someone has sold a lot of wood, but the rates for food are pretty good still, so Dagon can buy himself a fair bit of time. That is a beautiful 5-headed Hydra. 700 damage dealt. And Tixams is now in Mythic Age. And I suppose gonna be grabbing some really hefty upgrades soon. He should have full bounce at this point in the game. Although it's not like Dagon is in a much better spot either. And Nito got up to Mythic Age as well. I suppose Kleb is, yep, he's almost there. And so the top dogs right now are looking to be Nito and Kleb, with Tixams not far behind. I wouldn't bet too much on Red Cardinal at the moment, but who knows. I wouldn't bet too much on Dagon either. Yeah, so he's been completely pushed off his spot. That is a dead Hydra, that is sad. That's a lot of damage with each hit. Ed continues to clean up Rocco here. And Tixams continues to clean up Dagon here. And taking a look at Chaos resources, it looks to me like Nito might be wanting to go for a Wanda. Kleb isn't quite there, but maybe. And Tixams might be going for it later down the line, but I don't think that's his priority right now. And there we go, our first kill of the day. Arguably second kill, since Rocco is not in a much better spot. But Dagon is out, Rocco is out. If I'm not mistaken, there's nobody in the Tier clan left. Yeah, since Rocco... Yep. So... just 4 guests, I suppose, we could call them. Now Nito is just gonna ravage Red Cardinal. And Kleb is gonna take on Red Cardinal from the other side. And now Tixams is going for another town center. He wants to expand on the map now. He might be a bit late to that, but it might still work out for him. Nito is getting ever closer to that wonder. And Kleb isn't quite there either. What are the players' upgrades looking like? I would like to see both players go full bronze now. And start getting some iron upgrades, especially Kleb. And regarding... okay. Tixams, you should get all your upgrades, please. Like, you went with Hephaestus, please get this upgrade and get all of these. And the third, there we go. You're making me very, very happy right now. There's only 3 contenders left. Nito, who's gonna start a wonder soon, unless he gets his entire army killed or something and needs to rebuild it. Gleb is slowly but surely accumulating some resources as well. He has started to trade routes, although it's a very bad one. I suggest... Okay, he has sent a few caravans to a further away TC, which is nice. Would be nice to retask those ones. I don't think that Nito has started a trade route yet, which is potentially why he's ahead in, especially in terms of food. Hasn't been spending all his resources on caravans. We do not often see that. A double Fenrir Inferno. So Nito 270 pop, Nep 270 pop, they did roughly the same damage to each other. Well, and they have about the same pop cap. Although it looks to me like Kleb, maybe. Okay, there he goes, there he's got his bronze sign. That is nice to see. Bronze shields would be, well, not too relevant versus Kleb, but will be nice to get eventually. Are you serious? Big Sam's get with upgrades. I would bet onto Nito for scans. Especially that rock giant that tanked quite a lot of time. Okay, so what are the resources looking like for Nito? Yep, he just drained all his gold to make another army and a Titan Gate. And Gleb drained all his food. That is pretty good on the gold. Those are lots of idle bars. Okay, and the ballista spammage has started now for Nito. Oh, and okay, this is interesting. Big Sam's has just started to roll over Kleb. And so, unless something drastic happens, I think Kleb is gonna be out of this game not too long from now. And we're gonna have our 2 top dogs, Nito and Big Sam's. I think that's just a ballista that was really pointed somewhere around here and just isn't visible in the banner of idle military units since it's not idle anymore. But there's no point in destroying this. That is a nice velocity raid. Don't very often see that. So Tixam's 260 max pop. Kleb, who has lost a couple of TCs, 260 as well, and Nito 310. And gonna be jumping up to 335. He does have 45 town centers. Okay, Kleb has come back and is now starting to defend himself. There we go, that's nice to see with upgrades. Grab the bronze ones now. You've got the resources to spare, maybe a bit of market macro. Do we see any head highway? That is a bit of a missed opportunity with so much time to prepare. And with the right card combinations. And it looks like Tixams is going to be pushed off here. But a bunch of head highway would have pinned up this army without any difficulties. Yes, Tuxoki is on the best choice here. Although Kleb is in a pretty bad spot in terms of eco. He's very far behind on villager counts. And pressured on his side by Nito, who is working forward with a very scary army. Which is not yet in full iron. Nito, by the way, with 12,000 food. Like, you could put a few more on gold and get that on the up. Even to some, well, not so much market macro anymore. I think that might just be enough food to get to 5,000 gold without dropping below 5,000 food either. And so, because Kleb is under pressure, he's just forced to let Tixems just rebuild his army. Okay, he's grabbing his bronze upgrades now. You have 2 armories, you might as well use both. Although, I'm sure in the heat of the moment, it's quite hard. I just realized I don't have the music turned on. That's gonna be a bit more sensational. Who's Ballista are not gonna be enough. Oh. Well, with these guys coming, I would bet on Nito right now. Although Bev has been claiming this up better than expected. I'm interested to know why the Nose Titan has the Egyptian icon when there's no Egyptian in the game. So Nito forced to spend a ton of resources again, but so is Kleb. Where are Tixem's villagers? Am I thinking correctly? Was there like only 60 villagers here? Is he just building something with 20 of them? Tix over there? Oh, okay. That explains things. Oh, and yeah, he's starting his trade routes. Just go on to this gold. Would be nice. Or, okay, he's already on this one. Delete that archery range. And Kleb has managed to push back Nito for the moment. I'm not sure it's gonna last long. Now Kleb is full iron, but Nito is not, which is probably why he was trading so well before. And now Tixems just went back to Kleb's base, and I think Kleb's a corner right now. That wood situation hurts. That is a very nice taunt. And that is a very dead trade route. Are you full iron, 98 cents? He's big. If I had to bet on someone, it's gonna be Tixem. Not Tixem, it's gonna be Nito. So this is gonna be interesting to see. While both players are cleaning this up, I'm gonna take a look at the YouTube comments. Okay, I just see your messages, Godschalk. So yeah, I didn't even notice there was double food, but come to think of it, there was quite a bit of hunt and... Oh, I think you mean double food because of the fish plus the hunt? In which case I would say all the seeds are going to be better off in that regard, but North's early game is going to be pretty strong for sure. With that food income. Their ability to spam quite a lot of units quite quickly past the 1 or 2 minute window after raging up to classical where they just get going. And I don't know why Nito hasn't committed to building his Titan. He could just even have 5 or 10 Berserks in a corner, and I think in the last 5 minutes it would have gone up, even with his main army being out there. Get Iron, please. Please make it Iron. I don't know what this one is doing here. Maybe he's worried about something coming on from this side, which is reasonably possible. Nito is committing to taking all the DCs that he can find. And he's gonna be denying this one and taking it for himself. Sure. That's just the units auto-attacking, auto-moving, I think. Yep. Exactly, he's going right for it. Although he might get denied in turn by exams. That's what it looks like. No, not going Hetairo is such a missed opportunity. And there he goes. Fires for Titan Gate. I think it would be nice for him to have a Titan out at the moment rather than 2 minutes. Oh, 90 seconds-ish. Getting pushed very hard over here, although that's a lot of buildings, so it's gonna take a while for Tixems to push through, especially if he keeps attacking this wall. Those are dead villagers. If Nito sees them, which he didn't. Nito cleans up Tixem's forces on this side and is now causing trouble over here. Why do I not have stats for damage inflicted anymore? Why did it disappear? Because units definitely did damage. And that Titan is gonna come out pretty soon. I'm betting a couple rams are gonna come out of him, or ballista. And I'm gonna bet on Nito right now, winning this game. Nito might as well sell a bunch of food, bring himself that wood, and I mean, he's not gonna need the Wanderer to win, but just have 1 or 2 units in the corner, build it or something. For fun. And Nito is opting to just go where Tixem's army is not, which is a smart move, I think, and he knows he's got enough buildings over here to delay Tixems a long time. He's got some buildings around here, so he's been cleaning up on this side, sort of surrounding Nito somehow. Just shoot those guys up and put 1 or 2 units on the TC. Is my suggestion. And now Tixems is in a world of trouble. Did Nito just convert a whole bunch of berserks? I don't think so, it's only 40 points, he's still at 100 villages. Okay, so he didn't do that. That's a lot of favor, Nito. You might have wanted to cast a bronze. No, not Nito, Tixems. To cast a bronze before taking these fights. And there we go. Nito is the winner of his first game of Group B. Congratulations to Nito. And let's take a look at the post-game. I'm not surprised to see him ahead of everyone, pretty much since the middle of the game. He was 2-2 with Gleb for a time, and with Rocco, who was booming the most but didn't have any army to defend himself. There's been some big fights. That is when Rocco just got erased from the map. That was when Gleb first pushed onto... No, when Tixems had his second push onto Gleb, I think. And who had the most TCs? Okay, up to 11 for Nito by the end. Nito collected the most resources of every kind. Did he have a few trade caravans by the end? Oh no, it was the fishing ships, I suppose, who put his villager count up there. Maybe. This is weird. Kleb actually with the most units killed. I'm a bit surprised. I would have thought Nito would have gotten that maybe Dixons. But Kleb is truly well and truly far ahead. But Nito had the biggest army by 60-70% more than Kleb. Dixons got 170 villager kills. That is a lot of players worth of villagers. And Nito 133. 101 buildings raised for Dixons. That is impressive. Basic courage at 422 for Red Cardinal and Dragon. And yeah, this is what we expected to see. Total settlements captured, which would be throughout the entire game, I suppose, and not just at one time, which was 11. And we didn't see many god powers, but those are not the sieves that have them, that use them the most. GG everyone, that was a very interesting game, a bit slow to start, but the pace can be like that, but action-packed the entire way through after that.
Happen.
Let's speculate now. Welcome to the second game 2 of... It's the second game 2 of the DoD Underworld FFA game. This is Nomad, but with a slight twist, which is that it's a stick-like. I have to rotate the map, I'm sorry. That looks like... That could be a skull. Just need an orbit there, and a few teeth there. And we've got a skull. That is... amazing that a random script just got us this on this seed. So Dagon is playing as 4 this time. He was playing as Shenong in the previous game. Nito is playing as Gaia this time. He was playing as Prey in the previous game. We have an esteemed guest who wasn't planned to play but just joined last minute, which is very acceptable. And so we're pleased to welcome Gerbot, who's playing as Nuwan. He also went again for the very early creation. And here we see Tixems, who was playing as Poseidon in the previous game, and in the first attempt at the second game, which crashed because of an out of sync, so he chose Zeus this time. Rocco was playing as Thor in the first game and is now playing as Uranus. And Eb was playing as Freyr the first game and is now playing as Isis. So we only have one Norse. Yeah, we have one of every sieve, except 2 Atlanteans. That is quite some variety there.
Bullreg.
I'm gonna try to speed up a little and catch up to where they are, since there's not much going on right now anyway. In the interest of time... Okay, let's stop here. I don't see anyone who went second. Well, nobody's in the classic rage yet, so that's why nobody went second, I see. I'm a bit off from having sped up the thingy. And I've now caught up to where they are. Maybe with 3 minutes of delay, I'm not sure. First to Classical Age Rocco. And I wonder if he's gonna go for a... No, no TC right away, it looks like. I think, yes, the Chinese do start with 2 Quafu on Nomad. Like, they start with 1 and then they get another one for free from the from building the TC, which gives them a very strong start. Okay, so second to Classical Age was Gerbot. I wonder if he's gonna go for a TC. But macro looks to me like it's just catching up on wood, and he's gonna have enough gold by then. Although, has he scouted any other TC? Yes, he has. Nito went up to the Classical Age as well, and might very well be going for another TC of his own. That looks to me like it. Pixems is not having any villagers on gold right now. I'm not too sure what he's gonna go for. Rocco has a lot on wood at the moment, but not on gold. And Dagon is the last one to the Classical Age, and it's gonna take another 30 seconds, so... To some extent, he's gonna be a bit ahead in economy, especially with the Provan Armory to boot, which is most likely why he was late to the Classical Age, but this is an FFA, it's not just an extra 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 villagers that are gonna decide the outcome of the game, most of the time. I don't know what he's scouting for. Maybe trying to see if there's another island somewhere. And there we go, Dagon next to the Classical Age. Nito just got his TC up, and Gerbot is getting his up as well. Kleb also got a second TC up. There we go. That's better. 90 degrees. On the minimap. And Dagon is going straight up for another TC, even with very few units. That's interesting, that's an extremely defensive position to have his gold mine. I'm not sure he can put dwarves back there though. And Tixems has also gone for a second TC. Gerbot is first in score. Very close behind is Nito, just 30 points behind, so I think what we're starting to see is just the scores are gonna now start to mean something, rather than just the early game when they don't really mean anything, so... You could do some scouting with that. I wonder, okay, Tixem hasn't identified anyone, maybe just Gerbot now, going for an extra TC. Gerbot is just about starts to know about Tixems, he knows quite a lot about Nito. Okay, no, wait, why am I getting line of sight on both Gerbot and Nito? Some weird things happen in this game sometimes. I'm very confused. And Rocco doesn't even really know about anyone besides Xems there. And it looks like we are seeing some action somewhere. Oh yeah. Just trying to do a bit of raiding on Xems there. But not getting much done. Maybe killing a couple villagers. But that's about it. And Kleb just about has identified where Nito is and knows where Dagon is. I see Gerbot has gone for how many town centers now? That's his third one over there. He's the first one and only one to have 3 TCs now. Getting a military camp over around each TC, except this one, he's just got a temple there. Dagon also going for a third town center. Kleb, I suspect, might be going for a heritage. Yes, very soon. He could He's just missing the armory and market. A few Myrmidons from Nito are running around, looking for some trouble. You had to give some trouble or to get into some trouble. Jabot is actually first one to Heritage. Yeah, the Quafu, starting with 2 Quafu as Chinese is pretty strong. Okay. Does Jabot know that Dagon is on 3 TCs? He only knows about 1 TC. Well, he can guess it's the second one, minimum. There's just a few beginnings of a fight maybe there, but just poking and prodding. Why do I get line of sight on 2 players? What is beyond me? Those are a lot of houses. It's not gonna be quite as pretty as the house wall of Red Cardinal, I think it was in game 1. So no fighting going on yet, just a couple raids here and there. But that's about the extent of it. Jabot building some walls here. And Jabot has firmly taken the lead now. Kleb is second to the Heritage, but second to last in terms of score. Jabot building the Great Wall of China. That is a dead Anurite. And those are starting to accumulate Valkyries. Who else is going up to Heritage right now? Nobody else, but Roku just advanced as I was looking. And I wonder where else he's got his Sky passages. How do I cycle through both? Just between his 2 TCs there. Jabot is preparing a storm, I think, of some kind. He might be going fast mythic, seeing how he's not getting into any trouble. And is not really training much in the way of military. Those 2 villagers of Tixams are not gonna do anything. And I think Jabot is gonna get this up before. Yep, there it goes. Rocco seems to be messing up troops and building a palace now. He might be pushing them to Victims not long from now. He might be trying to go to Mythic looking at that Aqua, which would make sense to get those fire siphons out. Big Sims just got to Heritage with the Underworld, putting down a fortress here. And Nito just aged up with Fear. He bolt onto that. What's the name? This is a Tau? I think it's a Tau. A bit of shooting's good here. Since Kleb is going Chariot Archers, he's taking a 3rd TC now. I didn't notice, but Nito has already also went for a 3rd TC. And Dagon is now in Heritage with Bragg. And he's on 4 TCs. Okay, that's interesting. Does he have the highest villager count? Not quite, but he's gonna get 100 about at the same time as Jabot. Kleb is quite a ways behind. Nito is actually fully maxed out now. And Roko is at 82. And Gleb did a fast mythic, and he's got the Son of Osiris now. I'm very interested to see where this goes. So Gleb opted to go fast mythic before he went for his third town center, and now he's got fast mythic with a area upgrade, and he's gonna get his prosperity off. A really good start. And now the fight has begun between Dagon and Roko and Pixams and Jabbat. 4 pairs, I think, versus each other. I think Dagon just noticed that there's already quite a few too many contenders here, just ready to go away. I think Sams is in a very bad position. Jabot is fortifying his pawn, which is nice to see. Yep, Sams just surrenders here. He felt the way that the wind was blowing. And I'm not betting much on Cap right now. He has to do something quick. However, here Roku has pulled back, and so has Jabot. And now Dagon is preparing to pay a visit to Kleb, it looks like. Dagon, which is on 5 DCs now, 6 DCs. To Jabot's 4, Roku's 3, with a village center. Kleb's 3, and Nito's 3. And Tixam's of course 0 now. That's unfortunate for Dagon to lose his unit side. So now Dagon is in a good spot because he's got a lot of bot, but he doesn't have the troops yet. I think he's going mythic, yep, that's exactly it, and now he's gonna start pumping out troops. And Kleb has managed to convince Nito that Nito shouldn't push. But Nito is going Mythic Age, there's going to be an Implode, there's going to be Fire Siphons. Roku is also going Mythic Age, Dagon as we saw. Jabot is also going Mythic Age. So this is a pretty different game from the previous one, where most of our players spent a long time in Heroic Age, where we got some fighting early on. With even a 1 TC attempt by Red Cardinal. And yes, now Dagon is messing up troops, now that he can spend his resources freely. Okay, so I'm not seeing the chat right now, but it looks like Kleb and Rocco just made an alliance. A second forest protection. And Rocco gets yet another town center. That is 7 now. And this army of Rocco looks like it's doing a lot of damage to Jabot's army. But what Rocco likes is the siege to push forward. Although he just got to Mythic, so he's gonna be able to get those Fire Siphons out now. Dagon is messing up a storm, getting his upgrades, which I like to see. And it has the Fimbul Winter versus everyone else. Yeah, he gets line of sight everywhere. Shepard just got to Mythic Age with the Great Flood. And has managed to hold off Roko for now, but is not ready to push. That is a... Wow. It's not so successful of an implode, but that is quite some spectacle to see 3 armies clashing with an implode in the center. Yeah, the fighting sort of continues. I would like to see a few fire siphons. Dagon with the very biggest army and the flaming weapons. And this is not a fight that Nito nor Kleb want to take. Especially since Roko and Kleb are allies now. Let's take a look at the diplomacies. Oh yeah, I can. I got 9 town centers now. Okay, so Jabot gets some peace, but Dagon is being attacked on 2 fronts now. Will I run? Yes, getting there. I think what Dagon is missing now is a bunch of production buildings. Because I guess he's just not training units, which he really could be. Don't know if he's trying to save up for a Titan, but even that seems a bit of a stretch. Roko has taken up this position, and now the action seems to be here between Sherbot and Dagon. There's still some action over there between Dagon and Nito, but Nito has managed to push off Dagon for now. I don't think Sherbot is gonna do too well versus that massive unit, although that's gonna help. Here is some fighting between Kleb and Nito. Kleb has managed to keep his adversaries alive so far. Although that may not last for too much longer. Dagon dropped a super uber Dragon Knight with a whopping 1.84 full per second gather rate on his walls. And now Sherbot is in a bad spot in this position. He's not yet getting pushed by Roko, but that might happen. Although Roko is stationing his army over here for now. And here the fighting continues. Kleb is pushing Nito back. And hitting the Petsukos. Okay, now Sherbot is managing to push back Dagon. Is a trade route for Jabot, who has made an alliance with Nito. I wish I could see the alliances being made. I was just lucky to be selected onto Roko when Kleb changed his stance to Roko. So we look to have a Red Dragon Alliance and a Jabot Nito Alliance, and then Roku in his corner. And so we seem to be lucky. There's been no out of sync so far, not what I've seen. And now this one of Osiris finally dies. Roku on this side just doing his thing, taking his time. Has not started the trade route that I can see. Is he trying to protect the king or something? Like, what's interesting is that despite there being these two teams, Roku is just left to his own devices and doing whatever he wants for now. I think because they must have announced it in the chat publicly, he knows that he's just not in any danger at the moment, probably. And maybe a little bit of scouting would make sure of that. Although he just doesn't really know what's going on. What might he be doing? Getting upgrades from what I can see. He screwed up a ton of units, but he's max pop anyway. Maybe the next spot, since he's already got a Titan Gate, is to save up for him, well, full hero army it looks like, and then maybe a Wonder as well. Jabot seems to be losing now, over here. Jabot with 5 TC, Dragon still with 7, Cab with 3, Nito with 4. Nito seems to be pushing over here, so it's an interesting sort of, like it almost turns like a wheel. Dragon is pushing into Jabot, which is gonna have to pull back into Nito, and Nito is pushing into Cab, which is gonna have to pull back into Dragon. I think this is when the much higher top cap for Dragon is coming in handy. And likewise, I think the much higher pop cap for Nito is helping quite a lot versus Cleb. Nito has been able to stay pop cap now. I suppose he's gonna pull back a little, just get back to full pop and start pushing again. Whereas Jabot is hard pressed to get full pop also. Dragon is just very happy to keep pushing with his full pop. Now Cleb is full pop as well, although his army is out of position and he's getting like that hard. And Roku just doing his thing, saving up resources maybe. Just he continues to spend them. I don't know on what. And so now Jabot has lost whatever troops he had remaining and is getting pushed faster and faster. And likewise, Nito is pushing Kleb faster and faster. Another forest protection at the town center for Jabot, which is only gonna buy him a little bit more time, but not gonna do much. That is an extremely bad trade route for Kleb, which is very unfortunate. All those resources could have been better spent elsewhere than in his caravan. Emperor has just not been spending resources all this time. Building forts, fortifying his positions, building an Maginot Wall. M has started to pick up a fight versus Dagon. And so Trabot plus Rocco is going to be a bit too much for Dagon to handle, who has lost his full pop thingy and cannot quite spam troops quickly enough to get there, to stay there. Kleb has now resigned, so we have a 2v1v1 situation going on. Okay. Titan Gate coming down. Might have preferred to see that in there or somewhere here, maybe. Although there's no Underworld on the table or these sorts of things. Not too much risk there. And now Dagon is in a tough situation. Does he team up with Rocco? Which I'm not sure is gonna happen. Does he pull back and hope that Rocco and Jabot are gonna fight each other? This is a losing card for Dagon. Might be giving up resources for a new Fimbulwinter. Trying to fight where all those units are teleporting. Might just be reinforcements from his army coming in one at a time. Ouch. Rocco buying himself some time to play the CC and reposition. Is Jabot looking to attack Rocco? It seems like he is, but that might bite him in the bum. Does Dagon know where the Titan Gate is? Though he doesn't. But this is when having put it right there might have been more safe. Because if Dagon spots it, it's not going up. And suddenly Rocco might be in a world of trouble. Now Dagon knows the Titan Gate is there. And Nito is just left to do his own thing. He will have to betray Jabot at some point if he wants to win this game. So I don't know when that's gonna be. But I could see it being very painful for Jabot to have to live with this army. And Rocco managed to push back both Jabot and Dagon, although it's more like Jabot has pulled back. And Rocco has his Titan now. No. Nito could start building his own Titan as well. I'm not sure why he hasn't started. And now Rocco has to Vortex away. defend this position from Gerbot, then I think Gerbot is probably not gonna win this. Nope, it is not. But then that gives Dagon some time to move about. And Nito is just passing up a very scary army. He's got the highest pop, I think, now, of all the remaining players. Yes, indeed. So when that betrayal comes from Nito, it's gonna be very painful. And there comes the Titan Gate, which is safe in the back. Maybe not too safe from Jabot, who could just walk around, but it's a bit better than Rokos, I would say. Roko is fortunate to have his Titan to hold off entire armies from this side, while his actual army is getting damage done on this side and pushing Jabot back. Although Roku is now out of troops over here. Those are a lot of Esperites trees, so not only does Nito have the highest top cap, he's also got the most Esperites, Triads. 20 Triads is a lot of Triads. He's missing one Oracle though. Roko could, well, yes, he's just gonna build it somewhere. On this side. Okay, that's gonna be underwhelming Wonder Age. With just Chaos on repeat, which is not too strong. Shockwaves on repeat, likewise. And the added favor gen might mean more hero troops or MIP units, but that's about it. That's about what he would gain from it. And he just doesn't really have a resource encountering that time, and 700 seconds is a lot of seconds to be waiting for a Wonder to appear. That's kind of a really an interesting thing about Result, I think, which is that some gods have a very weak Wonder Age, whereas some gods like Noah with Infinite Forest Protection and Great Flood will have a great time. Then Sons of Osiris is also a good thing. Implodes on repeat, Esperites trees on repeat. Of course, Trimble Winters on repeat, so Atlanteans don't have the best Wonder Age. Actually, your Ramos. Nito is setting up for his own Wonder, I think so. And he's about to get this Titan. And Trebot has started to build his own Titan somewhere. It's over there. And got to remember that Roku isn't gonna get a second Titan until 10 minutes after he finishes the Wonder. Then that's gonna be very late to come. And Dagon is getting his own Titan Gate now. And Nito is starting his Wonder too. So it looks like the action has died down, and I don't know if the alliances are still on. Definitely between Jabot and Nito. A trade route there. And not between these two, since that DC just shot at Nito, but he doesn't want to provoke an attack. Oil response. That must be difficult to build a building or to dig something when you get pushed around by other people trying to dig around and build a thing. I just realized I'm at 20 FPS, and yet the game looks fine to me, which is, I guess, because it's a constant FPS with no frame drops. That is a lot of bug scouts. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Weapons are approachable and Pentagon now. Hey, it's Jabber's Titan. Still in the back now? Oh, there it is. Trying to find... Oh yes, I understand. Trying to find Rocco's one. And Dagon is also trying to find Rocco's one there. Although that hero army is gonna do a lot of damage to that Titan. But then Dagon's army is also coming around. Jabbat doesn't know where the Wonder is, I suppose. Nope. Yeah, he's going the wrong direction. Which I think is gonna give Rocco enough time to finish it, but as we said, it's not gonna be a very strong Wonder Age. And Nito is just happy to wait and do his thing. And I think Rocco has pretty much lost the game now. I don't know what this Wonder is gonna do, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Ooh, that is nice. As Nova to be able to build the towers just automatically in the late game. Where did Rocco teleport to? I don't even see his army. Hello? And yeah, so now is my question. What do you do with Wonder Age? Because if you spam with God powers, you're not gonna have enough favor for that Island Gate anyway. I like to see them. An army of citizens shanking a Titan. I'm also taking a screenshot of this. I do have the photo mode actually. Let me just do that real quick. I'm gonna take it like that. Sorry about that earlier. And Nito is still waiting and doing nothing. I think he's just waiting for that Wonder Age to get an infinity of implodes before he attacks. I am amazed. This army of heroes, including villagers, mostly just killed that titan. Why did he use with chaos? What is Rocco doing? That's a dead titan. I would like to get it at some point when it just smashes with a hammer. Yep, there we go. Nope, I do not want to quit. This, I think, is the end for Rocco. Is he trying to spell something? On, off. Shockwave, because why not? I'm gonna come back and see what he keeps on writing there. And now Nitro has started to... He's in Wonder Age and has started to attack Dagon. I think Dagon is also gonna die very soon. But just doesn't have a wood to start longer. He might be able to purchase some of it, but it might be a bit too late to defeat Nito. Those are super riots, of which Nito has 27 now. Did Trevor just resign? Dagon has resigned, Roko has resigned, but it doesn't look to me like Trevor has resigned. What happened? I think I understand. Yeah, so what happened is, because they were in an alliance, they won as a team when all the other players were eliminated. And I didn't know it worked like that in an FFA, but we have two winners. I'm still gonna take a look at the post game. No surprise there to see Gerbert at the top. I'm surprised Nato is that far behind. He just didn't spend 50,000 resources in the last 15 minutes of the game, I suppose, and so came out on top regardless. Rocco with 2,101 favor. And 735 units killed. Dagon not far behind with 659. Nito killed most villagers and had villagers army and destroyed most buildings. Very quick hero cages, especially for Kleb. The exams never got her. 37 Valkyries for Dagon. 57 Cody. 59 Dryads, that's not a surprise, but the 37 Valkyries definitely are. 15 Qinglong also aren't a surprise to me. And so, yeah, that looks to be it. Yeah, okay, so what happened is we were like, what we meant was it should be informal alliances just meant in chat and not using the alliance feature of the game. So